The more I think about my time in the VTuber community, the more I think, what if I was to really take on this type of lifestyle, right, of being an actual VTuber slash streamer? And I think, well, I definitely would join a company. And if I was to join a company, it'd be Vshojo. But here's a message to VTubers and maybe aspiring VTubers like myself or maybe yourself about the audition controversy when joining Vshojo. But I already know. Isn't it kind of like just like a cool place? Like you got to be invited to join this type of group. Let's
So
talk
I
about it.
feel the need to get something off my chest. I talked about this on my stream the other day, but I think instead of posting a clip where I may come off as potentially rude, I'd
Okay.
rather just say my words carefully.
Okay.
So
Cool.
hi,
That's a
my
good
name is
idea.
Cake.
Nice to
I've
meet you,
been in the
Kate.
VTuber scene since like 2020. For almost
Nice.
the
Longer than
entirety
me.
I've been a VTuber, it's been a hobby for the most part.
Okay.
But because I've been around for so long, I'm getting sick and tired of seeing developmentalities and habits that I feel the need to really speak my mind about. So this Vshojo audition situation, and by situation I mean people making jokes about it or outright jabs at Vshojo for not hiring a random small indie. Listen, the first time they opened auditions, way back then, I also applied. Back when I was just some art VTuber with nothing really to offer, I've always been a small streamer. Most average I got was like 50 average for a short period of time. And I'm fine with that because that's
That's
normal.
pretty good.
That's like average.
Yeah,
But with
50
these
people
auditions,
watching you.
man,
That's
some
pretty
of
good.
y'all make it so obvious that you're bitter about it. And this isn't new for streamers in general. I know, I'm sure. But I genuinely just miss the 2020 VTuber days sometimes when the fact that you can essentially become a cartoon character was such a big deal that people just like that and was happy with just that, not the numbers, at least from my point of view. But the honeymoon phase ended, and suddenly we all realized that we're on that grind. I truly feel like this is a huge
Yeah,
element as
of
to why people want
course,
to
right?
jump down Vshojo's throat about who they hire. And that's the key word,
So they get a
hire.
chance.
I feel
Yeah,
like
so they
if
get
you
a
feel
chance,
this
right?
way, you're Delulu. And I'm sorry, but like, I absolutely feel like you're Delulu. I completely understand the bitterness and frustration of feeling like a failure as a person. Because
Ah,
that's what happens when you feel like you don't perform well as a streamer. No matter what your numbers are, a lot of streamers still just don't like themselves enough because they put their success on this
in
impossible
analytics.
pedestal that when they every time they get close to the top, it raises. It goes.
Uh, I don't know. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people do. Your value as an individual and as a human being is not reflective on your work. It's reflective on the internal, how you feel about yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you need to be happy with yourself, with who you are, the things that you go through on a day to day. Yeah, I get the grind. I get you want to be popular in the eyes of other people or you want to be appreciated. But if you really want to be happy, say even tomorrow, next thing you know, you got 20,000 people watching your stream. You might be excited. You might be full of glee, like, oh my gosh, so many people are watching me. Yes, nice. But that's not going to change how you feel as a person, especially whenever these 20,000 people, they might enjoy what you have to offer, but maybe they want more. Maybe they want you to change it up. Maybe they want you to do something specific. And then it's up to you as a human being. Are you going to say, okay, I'm going to do what my uh, I guess they wouldn't even really be a fan base. They would just be a bunch of people that enjoy watching you, right? These people that enjoy watching me, they want to watch me for something specific. Are you going to change to do that, or are you going to stick what you feel is good for you? And if you decide to do whichever, just realize, if you don't really enjoy whichever you pick, you're just going to be unhappy, and you're going to be unhappy for a long time, regardless if you have a lot of people watching you or nobody's watching you, because you're not happy with yourself. It's the hard truth.
That when they every time they get close to the top, it raises. It goes higher. It's never good enough. It seems like most streamers I've met through the years are either bitter or depressed about it to some degree. And I myself got that way too. Don't get me wrong. I wanted to try and grow for a little bit, but that completely burnt myself out where I just disappeared for like a year and a half. Which yeah, I returned like just. And now this is
Welcome
happening.
back.
And I feel like I'm having deja vu because this happened before. This happened the first time, this stuff. This happens like every time I hire anybody. People say some shit like this. All this stuff that Zen is talking about in her tweet here. But I really hurt myself emotionally and mentally with these unrealistic expectations. Why are we forgetting that the world has like 8 billion plus people on it? And God knows how many VTubers? I hate that it seems like no matter what, most of us struggle with the false reality and expectation that isn't even real. It's not even real. It's in your head. Granted, people who insult your numbers aren't helping and are living trash. By the way, they're always anons. They never show their face or a real
Of course
account.
not. Why would they?
Weird is that? How weird is that? Anyway. Please understand that Vshojo is a company. It's a business. No matter what, that's the end of the line here. No matter what, that's the end all be all. I'm sorry. I've had and seen so many people over the years, again and now, right now, who say the most delusional, bitter things about Vshojo not hiring some random small indie. Out of how many applications? Babe, you're asking to win the lottery. And I completely console you in your frustration of not feeling good enough. But holy shit, let me tell you, you're not remotely the first or remotely the last. I understand this mentality will probably never go away in its entirety. Unfortunately, it just is what it is.
It's a mental health issue. People need to solve it on their own. Yeah, it's not going to change.
But I really want us to do better for ourselves because I feel like it just seems like a problem in VTubing. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
It's a problem with life. It's deeper than
by
VTubing.
The wrong people. I don't know. You know, for me to be driven off that hard for someone who kind of needs it, for me to hate that so badly, and I didn't even try that hard, and I tried really hard to have healthy expectations. I can't imagine how bad it is for people who are killing themselves to be quote-unquote successful. And that's why this concerns me.
You're driving yourself crazy.
And it drives me nuts. Every time I see a fellow streamer clearly have this hanging on their shoulder and it affecting the way they are, the way they act.
It's sad, yeah. It's
whatever.
Sad.
I could just tell. And it drives me crazy. All I can say is...
Well, hold on. Let me read your name. KhunShawn. Oh, well, that's an easy name. Cake, you got to remember, man. Even though, you know, it seems like you have a good heart and, you know, of course, you care about other people, you got to remember everybody is dealing with their own internal struggles. Everybody, right? So try and remember at the end of the day, their struggle is not your struggle. It helps. You can't save everybody. You really can't.
Thinking this way is genuinely only hurting yourself. That is all it's doing. It is not helping you. And I'm sure most of y'all know this, but I'm telling you, if you don't fix it,
you gotta say it
you're
out loud.
gonna explode.
Yes,
it will come to a head.
Yes.
You are human.
Yep.
And you are not less because you have less viewers as a streamer. You are not less because you get less donos as a streamer. You are not less because you are less likely to get picked out of like literal thousands of applications that other VTubers in these same auditions. Shoot your shot if you want. If you feel like you want to, need to, whatever, you may as well. It's not even that hard. And you never know. You may have something that they like and maybe they will pick a small indie. But I don't want them to be like peer pressured to pick a small indie. That's just not the way. Stop having these expectations of a huge, giant agency to pick a random small indie just because you feel it's unfair. They're a business. If someone more profitable and safe, like say a friend of their members they already have, comes along, yeah, of course they're most likely gonna pick them.
And to be honest, that's how most of the world works. You get picked based off recommendation. So it's good for you guys to start making connections. Connections are how the world is run.
This isn't a charity, it's a business. Small indie VTubers don't need to get picked up by a large agency to be successful. Look how many huge indie VTubers there are that got huge success. Some of them got it really fast, like practically overnight, but a lot of them took like
just one
6,
clip,
8,
one video,
10 years to grind to that previously, before VTubers existed. Because that's standard for content creation. That is very common for larger creators.
Creator that I really enjoy, her name's Swell Entertainment. You probably never seen her, but she's very popular, right? And she only really gained her like big popularity, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I started watching her about 5 years ago, I think. So around there, 5 years ago, I think she was around like 15,000. So now she's at 100,000, I think, maybe even more than that. I'm not too sure because I don't really keep track of that. But I talk about her to bring up a story that I just saw from her recently on her YouTube Shorts, and it was talking about somebody was jealous of her success or something like that, or being a small YouTuber is so hard. And her response was, "I posted for years, getting less than 100 views. Years. If you don't give up, you will eventually make it. If you keep talking about whatever it is that you actually believe that you're spilling from your mouth and not just following trends, you will eventually come across people that resonate with whatever message it is that you're sending. And those people will follow you on your journey. And then more and more people will do the same. It just legitimately takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Once you understand that, that will help your mentality a lot to understand that reality. Either way, it's not impossible.
Enjoy the
It's just
process.
really, 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 really hard
Yeah,
and
yeah, life's hard.
messy. And you
Yeah.
need to consider whether or not that if it's hurting you, then maybe reconsider or change something. Something's got to
Exactly.
change.
Change
You should
something.
not
Might
be
be
hurting
yourself.
yourself.
It's probably
Period.
yourself.
Mentally or physically. Period.
You need to
To repeat
change
myself
yourself,
more
probably.
bluntly, I'm not remotely dissing the people who say or even joke about these things. I understand your point of view completely. I constantly feel worried for the many, many,
I do
many
too.
VTubers I see almost all the time who have this unrealistic, self-sabotatory way of thinking that I had too. I get it. And I just feel terrible for Vshojo to get dogged on for something that isn't fair to them. And they're
Yeah.
probably one of the best.
It's not their fault or it's not their problem that you don't have the you don't have the mental or the emotional capacity to just grow yourself. You want to get pushed into the spotlight. Are you ready for the spotlight? The only way to really know if you're ready is if you make it on your own. Whenever you start getting your first negative comments, when you start getting criticism on your own, how you're able to handle it. Because going from everybody having positive things to say about you in your community versus getting thrown out into a public sphere, you guys got to remember, Vshojo isn't liked. They're liked way more now than even 2 years ago, especially because they hire talents that people really enjoy. But Vishojo is also, they also get, I mean, this video is an example of that. People go after them for any reason. Now imagine you wanting to join and you becoming a talent. Well, whenever you join them, whenever you pick your friends, you end up picking your enemies too, right? So maybe it is better if you just grow yourself. You know what? It's 100% better if you just grow yourself.
And in my opinion, maybe the best agency that I can see, the most healthiest. They have an in-house therapist. That's crazy. I don't know. Like, I just don't want to dog on them, and I feel like this in particular just
That's
feels really
big.
unfair and comes off as just bitter. Please consider everything I've said, but obviously for your own sake, more importantly. And please don't be mean to me about this. I really am just trying to mean well for whoever will listen and maybe change their potentially negative way of thinking. Especially as a fellow streamer and someone who went
An
through that, and
advocate for
I didn't
growth.
even
Cake is an advocate for growth. And I love hearing advocates for growth.
go through it that bad. I feel
Good
because I didn't even
mentality.
try that hard, or I feel like if mine felt that bad and perturbed me that hard, it must be so much
Perturbed. I like
worse
that word.
for so many other streamers, and that's scary and depressing. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's super corny, but just
But it's
love the
real.
best
It's
parts of
real.
yourself.
It's real.
Never mind what you can't control.
Love the best parts of yourself. You guys got to also remember to love all of yourself, the good and the bad side. All of us, we have our bad sides. Me personally, I'm impatient, but I've worked on my impatience to try and turn it into something positive. Whenever I'm waiting on somebody or I'm waiting on something, I decide, you know what? I'm just going to meditate because meditation is good for the human body. It's good for your spirit. If you don't believe in spirit, then it's just good for you in general, right? Reduces anxiety. Every human has anxiety. So if you want to reduce it, start meditating. And you can meditate anywhere. That's what makes it amazing. Just breathe in Breathe out. That's it. I already feel better just doing that. It's crazy how the human body works and the human mind works whenever you actually understand it. So, better yourself. I believe in you. I think you can do it. It's all up here. It's also all in here too. All right, this is a great video. I enjoyed it. The Vshojo audition controversy. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.